I'm Geoffrey Matthews. I'm the Secretary and Chief Executive of Chelsea Arts Club in Chelsea in London. In the 1880s and 1890s, Chelsea was the artistic quarter of London. Within about 500 yards of where we're sitting at the moment, there were more than 2,000 artists plying their trade. And in 1891 they got together and decided that what they really needed was a club where they could go and eat and drink at the end of a hard day in the studio. They got together and founded that club, called it the Chelsea Arts Club. For the first 10 years of its existence, they hired a studio on the King's Road, and then in 1901 they bought a quirky, rambling house in Old Church Street, where we still are to this day. The essence of a club is that it's a home. For our 4,000 members, this is a home from home, somewhere where they know that after a hard day in the studio they can come and always be sure of a warm welcome, something to drink and something to eat. And I mention something to eat because obviously at the heart of what we offer is our food and beverage operation. We've got a small bar kitchen which serves snacks, but members often like to linger longer over a lunch or a dinner, and that's where our main kitchen comes into play. When the time came to refurbish our main kitchen, of course we could have simply said that that offer wasn't available for 3 months, but that was really unthinkable to us. It would have been a dereliction of our duty of care to our members. We'd have struggled to know what to do with the brigade of 12 chefs, the kitchen porters, all the other staff who wait on the floor of the dining room during that period of time. So it seemed a much better option. In fact, the only really option that we could contemplate was to keep operating somehow, and the answer was clearly a temporary kitchen. And when it came to temporary kitchens, everyone seemed to agree that the only viable answer was to talk to PKL. It was interesting that our project managers, Bidwells, took one look at the situation and said, you probably need to be talking to PKL. And then completely independently, Gareth Sefton of Sefton Horn Winch, our kitchen designer, also nominated PKL as a probably attractive solution. So we had enough recommendations there to be very confident that we wanted to be in touch with PKL. From the first moment we contacted PKL, I can't speak highly enough of the service we've received, to be perfectly honest. The initial contact was very straightforward. Someone came to see us and we were very quickly able to identify the kind of facility that we'd need. We put our kitchen designer and our head chef in direct touch with PKL, and they hammered out the details of what was required. Every contact, as I say, was very straightforward. Drawings were produced, elevations were produced, which were hugely helpful. And so getting ready for the big day was a remarkably painless exercise. Well, it's a pretty remarkable feat, frankly, to have got what in the end was 5 separate porter cabins into the garden of a house in Chelsea which has a front door about 6 feet wide and no other access to the street. What was clearly required was a very big crane, and a 130-ton monster duly turned up. It was enormously reassuring to be working with PKL because all the decisions about crane hire were taken by them, and on the day we were in the very capable hands of the crane company, but overseeing everything, Ted Wynne from PKL, who with his team was absolutely magnificent. We opted to make a virtue out of necessity and run the temporary facility as a pop-up. We wanted to make it a reason to visit the club, not a reason to stay away. And so we christened our temporary kitchen Taverna Paleta, which is Greek for Tavern of the Palette, as in painter's palette. We've got some rather interesting designs on the hoardings that surround the temporary kitchen, which help to perpetuate that idea that you've somehow miraculously been transported to Greece. And we're serving a mezze menu of smaller dishes, which has proved highly popular with our members. From the day they walked in, the chefs have very much enjoyed being in the temporary kitchen. It's in many ways, I have to say, rather better than the facility which we left, although the one we go back into will be splendid, of course. So they've really enjoyed working in it. We've had no problems at all with the kit. We've had 1 or 2 minor issues where we've had to be in touch with Ted Wynne back at PKL. I have to say that in a project which is lasting 2 years and which involves well, probably getting on for 100 contractors and subcontractors, Ted is absolutely top of the list in terms of his responsiveness. He gets back to me even if it's on a Sunday night almost instantly. The problem is invariably solved the next day if there is one, but as I say, there's been nothing major that's gone wrong at all.